Hey guys, it's Cal coming at you with day 2 of the High Strangeness Advent Calendar, the Bermuda Triangle Edition. Let's find out what's behind door number 2. See what we got here. I have my readers ready. Take out our soap and our aftershave and our write-up. Readers on so I can see what the heck we got going on here. And this is the Star Ariel. Check out that label. That is very, very cool. Looks like, and this is what I can see here. We've got Douglas and DB. Oh, and Hux is in there too. So that is very cool. Give you a quick write-up or read-up on this before we get into it. So, it's another homage. Homage to Bleu de Chanel. Top notes of bergamot, lemon, peppermint, pink peppercorn, middle notes of nutmeg, spice, and jasmine, base notes of sandalwood, incense, patchouli, vetiver, and labdanum. That actually sounds familiar. January 17, 1949, the Star Ariel climbs into clear skies over the Bermuda Triangle, its course steady, its final transmission calm, until the signal cuts without warning and the aircraft simply vanishes. In later accounts, radio operators reported a brief distortion just before contact was lost, and witnesses spoke of a strange light fixed high above the flight path, unmoving, watching, and beside it, something even harder to explain, a perfect black cube suspended in the sky, silent and without motion, as if waiting. And though no trace of the aircraft was ever found, the story endures that the Star Ariel did not fall into the sea, but was taken, drawn upward into whatever hovered there beyond the reach of radar, beyond the search of return. Fun fact, as of the early 1950s, pilots flying over the Bermuda Triangle reported glowing objects pacing their aircraft, sometimes climbing straight up at impossible speeds. Decades later, U.S. Navy aviators described encounters with craft showing similar behavior, fueling the theory that whatever moves through those skies has been there for longer than we think. This sounds epically awesome. Again, such a cool label. First sniff off the soap puck, putting the splash on the back of our hand. First impressions, and we'll come back after a few hours. And it comes out a lot, so I'm coated. Wait for that alcohol to dissipate and clean up some that I spilt on my little table here. Ooh. That lemon comes through nicely. The peppermint, that little mintiness is just wonderful. Haven't quite got to that nutmeg spice yet. We're not quite to those deeper layers yet, but I can definitely pick up some of the woody spiciness of the sandalwood and the incense. But, it's very, very light. It's definitely not a dark, heavier scent so far, but it's really nice. So, anyway, we're going to come back in a few hours and tell you what I think after it's had some time to dry down and evolve further. So, stay tuned. We'll be right back. So, we are back. It's been a few hours of wearing the Star Ariel. I'm really, really liking this one. The dry down, I find you're going to get some sweetness. That spice is really coming through nicely. A little bit of very light floral. Again, just that warmth that you're going to get from your sandalwood, your incense. I'm not directly picking up nutmeg, but I can understand that it's in there. And again, you're just getting a very general, light, warm, slightly sweet spiciness that, in a way, I have very limited experience with Chanel other than Doppelganger Continuum #1, which was the homage to Cure de Russie, and this, in a way, reminds me of that gentle, warm, slightly spiciness that's, and especially compared to day one, which was the Ellen Austin. This I don't find nearly as overpowering. I found Ellen Austin to be quite overpowering. This one is much gentler, still masculine, but much gentler. And that's really what the impressions I get of it. I really, really like it. So anyway, stay tuned. Tomorrow we're coming back with day 3.